He's a horse that we got kind of late in his 2-year-old year, and a customer of mine from California, Tom Durrett, owns Carmel Valley Cutting Horses. He bought him, and we kind of planned on both of us showing him, and he didn't have any luck on him in the non-pro, and I was fortunate enough to make it on him in the open. The coolest thing about him is just his personality. He's kind of real sensitive, but when you're not riding him and just hanging out, he's real laid back and fun to be around.
I like his personality. He's kind of a one-man horse. He's not a pet. He loves to work. You can get him out and work him, and he is very serious about his job. Probably the most, he's just so consistent and showy, because the second go around I had a pretty bad first cut, and then he was so phenomenal that they let me come back with that and making the semis. And then the semis, I couldn't ask for him to be any better. You know, he was perfect. You know, I had to follow a pretty good score. I was the second horse to go, and Taryn Rice, which marked a 2:19 first, which set the standard pretty high, which was great. And so I thought, well, I just got to do everything I can to try to mark that 16, and we did. Mm-hmm. A really, really good horse. He felt like Futurity kind of horse, open horse for sure.
It was a good run. There's not a lot of cows left, and I had to go in there and cut some tougher kind of cows, and because I don't feel like I can get anything done on them little old blacks. And he just done all he could do and done his job, and no misses, and it's just a clean run. He's just been a good horse all along. He's just a nice gelding, and he tries so hard, and he's got such a pretty move on him, and can't hardly a cow get away from it. Everybody's scared of them move your cows, but that's kind of his kind of deal.
What do you mean? Explain that further.
Well, he probably don't have the Fort Worth, maybe the look, maybe it's some, but when you get into bad cattle, he just knocks it out. He can hold about anything you put in front of him.
We started him as a 2-year-old. He's been very simple and very easy the whole time. We cut him after the BI this year. He kind of got to being a little vocal. And we made him a gelding, and he's been downhill ever since. Just real simple, real easy to work, easy to get ready. He's a little hot, especially for a cat gelding or a stud. He's always been a little gassy. But other than that, that's been the biggest thing, just getting him rode down. But other than that, he's easy. Tweety.
How do you get that name?
Well, we named a couple 2-year-olds after some cartoon characters. My little girl's 7, and she was 5 at the time, and 4 at the time. So we named a few of them after cartoon characters, and they just kind of fit.
This mare is she's a daughter of Chula's Murata. I trained Chula's Murata, did really well on her. This mare reminds me a bunch of Chula's Murata. She's a real gritty cow horse. Has been a little tough to train, but got a lot of the same stuff that Highbrow CDD and Chula's Murata had. So.
What was tough about her to train?
She was just so cowy that she was a little tough when you went to handling her in her face, but when you put your hand down, she was always there. She was there for me and Terry and everybody. Jackpot Ranch, Terry Green.
This mare's just been unbelievably gritty from the start. Like, you can't even let her work a cow hardly. She's just so cowy and just tries to break her legs, to do what she needs to do. We call her Shazam because she just got that name because she just, everything she does is just, she tries so hard. She just tries to hurt herself, Shane kept riding her 2-year-old year. He's the one that mainly had her mostly all her 2-year-old year. And he's like, man, I like this mare, man. It's Shane right here. And he said, man, I like this mare. And you could tell she just wanted to crush the ground. She's so physical, and she gets so tight. And every time you show her, she just gets tighter. You know what I mean? And just because she wants to try, and she's real smart and reads a cow, she's all about business. She's not one of those that's just all kinds of personality. She is all about business. Like, I could have named her that, I guess, all about business.
We started her. She came from Dottie and Bobby Hill, but this mare really was different from the start. She just had a lot more look to her and brightness and quickness.
she's just been a good solid mare through every run. I mean, she looks like she might be a hot horse because she's real quick and all that, but she's not. She's just really laid back until she sees a cow.
We bought him out of the Futurity sale from Rapp's program. Turner West had him, and Gary wanted me to go try him. We tried him in an ice storm. It took us 3 hours to get to Gary's, to Phil's, but Gary wanted to try him, and so I said he was a stud, and he was just like Phil told me he was, and but long story short, he bought him. He ended up buying him. I said, I'm out. You go ahead and let's buy him if you want to buy him, and he bought him, and I'm sure glad he did.
What's he been like this last year in training him?
He's been good. He's a good horse, real good horse, real couchy, and got a real cool style to him. Real cool style.
She's named after Tara's best friend in high school.
Her name was Andrea. Well, the first day of school, how they take roll, and they go down the roll, and they would always say Andrea, and she'd get so angry. My name's Andrea, so I always called her Andrea. Well, when this filly was born, she had blonde hair, and since her name was, had to be Dulray, so I said I'm going to name her Andrea, just because that's what I always called Andrea.
She's always been a very, very talented horse. She was really tough for a while, she's just hot, and she was kind of tough to get trained and just kind of, get her to come to me, and, really just in the last couple weeks before this started, she just kind of grew up and started changing and, kind of came into making a pretty nice horse, She's been really good every round I've showed her here. I didn't cut very good cows for her tonight, but she's been really consistent.
She's been a really good mare. I watched her last year as a 2-year-old when I went to Center Ranch, and we really liked her the whole time, and she's been a show horse here. Marked 2.19s, and the second round I marked a 14.5, but she just, I didn't do a lot, she's just been really good the whole time we've been up here. Well, she's so strong. She's got such a big move. She reaches a really long way, and her ears are always up. She's always real bright. I started working her as soon as we got home from the Futurity last year, and I've liked her, since day one. That she's kind of been one of my favorites. She's been wild. She's got a lot of energy, but when you get it channeled, that's what makes her so bright and so good.
Tatum and Kylie Rice raised him, and Justin Lawrence bought him from them as a yearling. Justin rode him his whole 2-year-old year. I bought him last year here at the Futurity. I saw Justin work him, and I went and asked about him, and I liked him from the first time I saw him, and we ended up getting him purchased, and he's just been real fun all year. He just had a unique way of looking and moving his head low and through that, and I just liked him, and anyway, I didn't even know how he was bred or anything, and I just, I liked him for an individual, and he was big and strong and made good, and he's been fun.
This is a highbrow cat out of Martinsville Sioux. I picked her out for Gary Fields in the yearling sale, and Alan Chappell bought her, and I liked the mare, so we went back and seen the x-rays, and I went to Alan to see if he wanted to make a little profit and sell that mare, and bought the mare from Alan, and we started her there at the house, and she's been a good mare, but she's been tough all along, and we didn't know really how good she was, so we put her in the bash sale as a 3-year-old this fall. And she just started coming on, and she came on so much that about the day before the sale, Gary decided that they weren't going to sell. Actually, it was Karen that decided they weren't going to sell her. She's just been gritty. She's real gritty. Maybe tough to get to them spots where you want her to be training her, but she's always been gritty and wanted to work a cow.
We started as a 2-year-old.
Brad Johnson sent her to us, and he wanted to sell her. Nadine and I bought her, and I don't know, I've always really liked that mare. Well, she's just always been really, really cowy. She's just been a real cowy, just, I've ridden some one times and they've been a little wild and stuff like this, and this mare's sure enough wild, but she's just been real intelligent about a cow.
When you say wild?
Big moves, and maybe, I've had trouble containing it all a little bit and stuff like that, but she's loves attention. She's a little pet horse.
Yeah, really?
Yeah, she just craves attention.
And what do you call her?
Cherry Peppers.